Hello.
So that song.
Hello. 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 Every Rush song.
Hello and welcome to Every Rush Song. We discuss songs by the rock band Rush. We cover all aspects of the songs and the recordings, and we will eventually discuss every Rush song. But today, Jay, what are we talking about today? Day.
Today we were talking about a little song by the name of Grand Designs off of the
Music Box Tim.
Bam, 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 down, 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 bam, 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 bam. That was Getty's bass part.
You know, it's funny. So
if you didn't know,
someone had suggested that we play a bit of the songs on the episodes and figure out how to do that one day. But why? We've got Tim. Tim can sing them for us.
Right?
Tim
Exactly.
can do it. We don't need any. All we need is Tim and love. All we need is Tim and love.
So Tim, when I say to you, Tim, let's talk about Grand Designs. How does that make you feel?
Is it a Rush song?
Yes. Yeah, that one.
Then pretty damn good.
All right.
I mean, that's the stupidest question. Hey, Shayne, do you like breathing air or not? Well, I think I like breathing air.
I'll think about it. I'll let you know what I decide. All right, so
Layout number one.
General initial thoughts about Grand Designs, Tim, Jay.
Well,
how do you like it?
Over the years, I mean, I really love it. Now, it wasn't one of the songs. It was a song I would skip over back in my youth when Power Windows came out. Yeah, you know, I was all about. Well, and this is funny when you say this about Rush. I was just listening to the hits.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was always listening to Big Money, Manhattan Project, Middletown Dreams, and Territories.
Love Territories.
Yes. And so yeah, Grand Designs. I don't know what it was about it. I just wasn't paying that much attention to it. But 400 years later, I absolutely love that song.
I like to pose this question to Shayne. What's the song about?
I'm glad you asked, Jay, because we've come here to discuss it. Yeah, it's funny. I always loved the song because I thought the lyrics were cool. And for the first 30 years or so, I had no idea what it was about.
My God.
But now I think I do.
Oh, well. So let me just say what I think it's about.
To not answer your question.
Let me say what I think it's about, and you tell me if I'm even anywhere in the ballpark. I think it, once again, you know, this big money, the whole thing, the underlying theme of money and greed and power and all that stuff. So I thought maybe it's about materialism, power and greed. Perhaps good intentions give way to greed, losing sight of what's right and wrong, or what's, you know, what your original intentions were, something like that. I could be off base, probably am. Hello?
May I ask? Wait, no. Jay, you here?
Yes.
What are I'm curious, the intentions part. I don't think I've heard
so
that.
Much power, so much poison and power, the principles get left out. So much mind on the matter, the spirit gets forgotten about. That's kind of where I was.
I can see that.
Okay. I don't know if I'm right. It's just my interpretation. I think a lot of music, Rush, perhaps included, is open to interpretation, but unless it's red barchetta.
Well, that's one of the fun things about this, is that it can mean something different to different people.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you think it would be about, Tim?
Yeah, it's again the same kind of theme. Everybody has. Now, first, I guess the first time I actually heard the song, Grand Designs, is this about architecture? But it's everybody's got grand designs for something. And somewhere along the way, your pettiness gets into it, your greed gets into it. If you're in a position of power,
Like me.
Right. Um, that gets in the way of the grand design of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Interesting.
And then again, I thought it was also talking about, A to Z, different degrees. It was different ways of saying the alphabet. So
you could say it in Spanish. You could say it in French. I'd say
you can make up your own language.
We've got an electric 3 different takes of this song. That's pretty cool.
Interesting.
But of course, Shayne's going to tell us why he's right.
But here's why. Here's why you're wrong. I think it's another take on individualism with some hacks, cuts. What's the word? With some insults at the music business, kind of Spirit of Radio-ish.
Okay.
It's kind of what I think it is. Kind of another anthem of individuality, but particularly insulting the music business.
Little dig to the music industry and the powers that be that run it.
Yeah. And so the grand designs were the formula, kind of like now you've got that Nashville songwriting machine, and I think there's a pop sounding machine too. And I mean, all the songs sound a lot alike. And I think even our friend in the music business, right? Was it JR who once said that they'll do these focus groups, and if too many people think it's too good or too bad, they'll have a 1 to 5 ranking. And if it's a 1 or a 5, whether it's really good or really bad, they'll throw it out and they'll just leave the songs that try to rank a 3, so they get like the most average songs they can.
So they basically they're shooting for middle of the road.
They're riding the curve, baby. Ride that C to the degree.
Yeah, baby. It worked for you in high school and college. Why can't it work for you in everything else?
Stick with a good thing. Right. I think there's a lot of really cool lines in it that was, even when I had no idea what they meant, it was one of my favorites. Like the A to B, different degrees. It almost seems kind of like a throwaway line, but is Neil going to start a song with just a throwaway line? Like just say those 5 words and then have another musical break before.
Yes, in fact, he wrote about that. That was supposed to go to a different song, but they never came up with anything else. And he's like, no, wait a second. That line's good. We're throwing it in somewhere.
So they just added it to Grand Designs.
They just added it at the beginning of Grand Designs. And see, and Shayne, just like your what you think your opinion of the song is about, sticking it to the music man. No music person with any kind of control would have let Rush end the song the way that they ended it.
You don't like the
no, I love it, but that's a regular standard record industry producer would say, just go da-na, da-na, fall in love again, da-na, and just let it fade out.
I would never try to copy a Rush song.
No, we never tried to do that.
I do, but I do like the way that song ends.
But Rush is going, no, we're going to trick that up. We're sticking it. We're not going to let Mr. Music Record Man tell us how we're going to end a song. We're going to majorly screw this up.
You all the heck, Mr. Record Man.
Everybody's going to be able to dance to the song throughout the first part through almost the end. But man, that ending, everybody's going to break a knee.
trying to
dance to that, right?
How many
take a knee or break a knee? It's your choice.
That's right.
So the album came out in '85, right? Power Windows?
Yes.
85.
so.
So there was a lot of like the 80s music was, I think that's the style without substance, right? Just
Mhm.
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
at the time was just, it sounded the same. There was no depth to it. And I also kind of think that stuff without style, I think that what he meant was shit without style, but they just they just don't put any of the cuss words in songs.
No, they're Canadian. They're too polite.
Yeah, right. They would never do
Right.
that.
I mean, he would have sung it, and then he'd have to immediately apologize.
Oh, sorry, that was totally
Sorry.
wrong. All right, so what about the line? Take some time and trouble, unless y'all want to dive into the earlier lines. Take some time and trouble to separate from the stock.
Is this this is the advice section. It takes some time and struggle to separate from the stock. You sometimes have to listen to a lot of useless talk.
Right.
Shapes and forms against the norm.
So separate from the stock. What does that mean?
You gotta, I guess, separate yourself from try to think for yourself.
Right. The stock is the base of the music industry,
Right.
and what everybody else is doing.
Do your
takes
own
some
thing.
time and
Yeah.
some trouble, because the trouble is, if you're not doing what everybody else is doing, you're being told nobody's going to come see you in concert, nobody's buying your records.
Yeah. Because you're too good.
And not only that, but we're not going to promote your records, which means that they won't sell enough for you to ever pay us back, and we'll own you for eternity. Well, I looked up the phrase to separate from the stock, and I saw it with animals, whether it's livestock or like a pack animal. And one of the references I saw was they were to train service dogs. They were talking about when and how to separate these dogs from the stock and figure out which dogs, first of all, figuring out which dogs would make good animals, good service animals, but then also removing them from the stock so that, that in a healthy, kind way, not just stripping them away from the family. Speaking of which, there's Dave Growl, ladies and gentlemen.
Davey,
the official show dog. But then I found another meaning of separating from the stock.
Say hi, Dave.
That's cooking.
Say hi, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Bite him, Dave. Bite him. He was been nope, not now. Not when he's scratching there. Nope. Separating, and when you, I guess I've seen it when you like let a soup or something cool and the fat rises to the top.
Yeah.
And then you can separate the fat from the, what happened to him? Tim just totally did a Pennywise thing and zoomed in.
Tim, are you okay? Hey, buddy, what you doing?
But yeah, so take some time to separate, and I don't know which is the good stuff. Are they saying the fat's the good stuff and they're separating it from the broth, or they're getting rid of the fat? I'm not really sure what he means there, but
well, I mean,
it does take some time. It doesn't just happen like that.
Fat is the good stuff that's bad for you. I mean, the fat is not, it's bad. It's not, then that's why people think it's great because it's bad. I mean, like people like greasy chili or greasy burgers, rather than.
Just got the picture. Yeah. Yes, I do. Ooh, I remember this one restaurant when I was a kid, a pizza place, and the pepperonis would curl up and have these little pools of grease inside of them when they curl up.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks, Neil, because those are the best.
Yes.
Yes.
That's where all the flavor was at.
That is exactly where all the flavor is. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it. I remember going to Cheddar's, and they used to have these really thin onion rings, and they were so greasy. I mean, they would kind of rip off.
Yeah, you could grab that basket of onion rings, pull all the onion rings up, and you'd have 12 ounces of grease. And so then I would throw the onion rings at a waitress and drink the grease like soup.
Ooh, onion ring soup.
Yes. Oh, that sounds good.
No,
it does sound good.
It's and then run against the run of the mill. So unlike everything else, unlike the average, swimming against the stream, struggling with it because salmon.
Salmon Capistrano.
Yeah. But then that one of my favorite lines, even when I had never, when I didn't have any idea what it meant, was "Life in 2 dimensions is a mass production scheme." I always thought that was so cool.
Kind of like Facebook. Because Facebook is your life that you want people to think you have. It's 2-dimensional. It's not real. But it's fake. It's not the full life. I mean, not everybody, but there's a lot of people that when they get on Facebook, I'm happy, everything's great. Look how much I love my husband. Who, meanwhile, they've been divorced for 3 years.
Did you forget to check your marital status?
But that's kind of how I take that. I could be wrong. I have been wrong once before, but I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's another shot. Life, I think with life in 2 dimensions, so life with no depth, like you said, is a mass production scheme. So it's the mass production. Most of the stuff they're producing is that shallow 2-dimensional stuff, and it is a scheme because they're only doing it for the money. They're not doing it for they're leaving out the principles. They're leaving out the spirit because it's all about the money.
Yeah.
It's that formula. I mean, it's still that way a lot, like with the
which is power.
Another one, a line that I really like now that I never really caught on to before is some worldviews are spacious and some are merely spaced.
Some worldviews are spacious and some are merely spaced. So what does that mean?
Spacious meaning
spacious.
Big. They take up space. They're big worldviews. They encompass a lot. They're not narrow. They're not small-minded. And then some are merely spaced, which means not only, if you think about it, I can't think if it's logic or what, but remember from, maybe it was math, where they would talk about, you'd have a set of one thing and then a set of another thing. But then where there were similarities, there was a union of the sets.
Excuse me. I was told there would be no math.
Oh, right. What is
my
this
bad.
math?
Okay, I don't think it was math. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. It was from.
Are you saying math or path?
It was from porn class.
Class.
Sorry if we didn't have that. Did we have that at Trinity?
No, I don't think we had that at
Maybe
Trinity.
not.
Porn
I think
class?
that was about. Yeah.
Yeah, it was called music theory.
Oh, now I remember. But I think merely spaced means that they're not very big. They're not very broad or wide. They're small and spaced, meaning that they're self-contained. They don't overlap with anything else. There's no mixing of anything else. It's all homogeneous and plain and dull and 2-dimensional.
They've cut themselves off from everyone else because only what they're the only ones that are right and everybody else is wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
Wrong.
I heard that too. Not leaving any room. And we're not throwing shade at you, Tim, because you're right here with us.
Tim. Ding dong, ding dong.
And then I have another favorite line, but do y'all have any other favorite lines or ones you wanted to talk about before?
No, you're on a roll.
But someone should stop me. I'm getting a sore throat. Hold on a second. Let me wet the whistle just a little bit. You tried the Sixes beer from?
I have not.
Is it
Sixes
good? Ranch. I like it. I like it a lot.
What is that one that you're drinking there?
I like it a lot.
Grit and Glory Pilsner.
Excellent.
So I always liked the Wild Kinetic Dreams line, even though I had no idea what it was about, until recently when I started wondering, what is surface tension? So I looked it up, I watched the
And
videos. All right, surface tension. Surface tension. Wait. Are you ready? Because I'm gonna
Yes.
blow your mind.
okay.
Your mind, you're about to just go with this, and you're gonna think that guy, not me, that guy, but the guy Neil that wrote the song. That guy is the most brilliant ever. Okay, surface tension is where
I'm ready to be blown.
it's gonna get science. I'm about to get sciencey on you now. So
Okay.
if you need to take a breather, if you need to pause the video, get ready for the science because it's coming. Surface tension is where the
Sorry.
Wait, what is it, Tim? What did Jay?
He's ready to get blown.
No, I didn't say I'm ready to get blown. I'm ready to be blown.
Whatever,
blown
it's
away.
the same thing.
I think that's worse.
I
I'm
want to
probably
be.
gonna have to edit that.
You said you're gonna blow us away, so
No, that's not what is that what I said?
So Shayne, blow me.
Well,
You
you're
know what?
gonna blow
I'm
our
not going to say
minds.
that's not what I said anymore because there's so many times when I'm listening to the recording and go, no, dude, that's what you said. All right, surface tension is when water molecules, because hydrogen and oxygen have different different magnetisms, so they'll attract to each other. And so what happens is the water molecules will attract to each other, and when they do that, they pull together, but then they also pull down, and that does two cool things. One cool thing it does is it creates kind of like a firm, like a film type area on the surface of the water. And that's why, have you ever seen like the little bugs that can float on water?
Yeah.
That's because I found out some of this today. These bugs have evolved to be able to float, to not break that surface tension. Did Jay freeze now too? Did both of you freeze?
I don't
think I did. Did I?
Oh yeah, you did freeze. You froze like this. I wonder how it'll end up on the video. So I'm hoping I'm not freeze. Is my brilliant science here.
No,
So it creates like a flat, almost like a solid surface. And I'm sure you've seen where you can also make kind of a homemade compass by floating a needle on water, and the needle floats somehow, or something like a razor blade, which even though the metal is more dense than the water, but because it's light enough and flat enough to not break the surface tension, the razor blade will float on the water. It kind of creates this like almost like a physical or a solid surface. The other cool thing it does is, if you notice, that's why water drips, because when it falls and it doesn't have a pool of water that it's in, when the molecules pull together, they pull together into a sphere. That's why all droplets are kind of rounded or spear shaped, because if you have water in zero gravity, as it gets time, it will form into a perfect sphere, because eventually that's the most efficient use of the space when the molecules pull together like that.
Boring.
There
he goes, bringing science into it again.
By the way, that's also why it hurts to do a belly flop, because the surface tension, you're hitting it at you're hitting almost a solidish area, and your body smacks it instead of going into it, as like on a dive, because of the surface tension.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I saw a video today where someone took a drop of milk, just one drop of milk, and they zoomed in on the splash and then slowed it down, and you could see where the surface of the water kind of bent with the drop of milk still intact, and then it bounced back, and it bounced the droplet of milk back up into the air a little bit, and then it fell back in.
Wow.
It was really cool.
So how does that relate to the lyric, "We break the surface tension with our wild kinetic dreams"?
So the surface tension is, even though it's a really thin surface, if you've ever done a belly flop, you know it's a pretty hard surface.
Right. Yeah.
So if
it hurts.
If you're not doing anything different, you're never going to break that surface tension, and you're never going to have any depth to your music, to your worldview, to whatever it is. If you don't have kinetics, which is movement, like a kinetic piece of art is a piece of art that moves.
Yeah.
Without that kinetics, without that movement, without that disturbance of that surface, there's never any depth. You never break that barrier to the
So
good stuff.
therefore, Neil isn't just writing about the music industry of the mid 80s. That, what he's talking about, is their entire career up to that point. When you think about it,
Yeah,
you know,
that's what they did their whole, yeah, that's
right.
what they did.
You know, after the first album, and they get weird with Fly By Night, and they got really weirder with Crest of Steel, and they are being told, okay, we're going to allow you another attempt at this.
We
but
need
you
a
better
hit.
write a hit. We got to have a hit. You got to do a hit. And they say, screw that. We ain't belly flopping nothing. We are doing the biggest cannonball ever. We are doing a triple Lindy.
Ooh.
And gave us 2112. Thank you. Let's move on.
Yeah.
That was
and you know what? The music's really good in that song too.
Oh man,
yeah, I
there
agree.
is so much cool stuff going on with the music. That's a whole other list. How long has this been going on? Because I've got another page of notes on the music.
You've got Getty.
I'd like to say this right now, that Power Windows to me is their
11th album, 14th album,
best keyboard album
ever.
with the use of keyboards. Yes, it's better than Hold Your Fire. It's better than Grace Under Pressure. And I mean, okay, I consider those three the keyboard errors. Sometimes Signals, but we've already discussed that. Here and there, but still, Power Windows is much better with the use of keyboards.
I think it's subjective because I like this song, even though I love this song, that's a really dated keyboard sound. I mean, it sounds like
it is.
It reminds me of sounds I was getting on my kind of cheap Casio that I had in high school, which I guess that would have been about 1985.
But back then that was awesome.
It was, but it's now
awesome.
It's dated. It's dated now, but it was awesome back then. Yeah,
you're dated.
Ooh,
well, yeah, of course
fired.
I am.
But what's interesting,
and by the way, it's not it's not dated.
Wow.
I'm vintage.
Oh,
vintage.
Jay's getting better with age. He's like a whiskey or a wine.
I am like a whiskey or a wine. Whiskey.
Or 4 6s. But have you? And that's the same. They use that same keyboard sound, like always, like on the Clockwork Angels live. It's that same sound, right?
They did.
Yeah, but because they could.
But then Alex's guitar sound is totally different on Clockwork Angels. It's that kind of heavier. It sounds like he's back to the double pickups, because I love that sound on Clockwork Angels.
Right, because why? I mean, Alex did.
Got tired of switching guitars every song.
Well,
and it sounds cool.
Again, you know, he had his height of frustration with all the keyboards yet, but I think it was starting to. I think it was starting to.
Was he frustrated on this album?
I don't think. No, I don't. If he was, it wasn't showing yet.
Because the lead section on this song is
badass.
Right. I mean, I think it's one of the best.
No, it is. It's really good.
But yes.
So no. I don't think. Okay, we're going to do all these songs on the Clockwork Angels tour from Power Windows.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But I'm not going back to that thinner, lot more trebly sounding guitar. Let's see. Let's bring our keyboard sounds back, because we can do that. You know, just put that floppy disk in, and now we're really going to rock those songs the way they should have been rocked.
Yeah.
In 1985.
Yeah, I love this song on. I mean, I love the studio recording, but it's really cool on Clockwork Angels.
Yeah.
The guitar sound and a little bit of changes he does on the solo.
Yeah.
And it's got, because one of the things I like about him, I guess, or them, is the ska, when they have the ska type rhythms, and that's one he does on this, where he's doing the on the 2 and 4. Because what was it? Oh yeah. So one of the cool things I like is the different degrees, where it kind of different degrees, and it kind of I guess whatever the effect is, that there just echoes on,
Right.
and it slowly fades out. And have you ever noticed that right when he says, I'm not looking at my notes, I'm looking at my notes. There's a sign, you can hear it come in for when he says it comes along once in a while. If you listen really closely in the headphones, you can hear the degrees. You can hear it come back in for like 3 or 4 counts and then fade back out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna have to pay.
Yeah,
I don't
listen
think I've
to
ever
it.
Me
heard that.
too.
It's so cool sounding.
Well, that's sort of like his limelight guitar solo. Okay, so at the very end of the guitar solo, he's just holding that note and it's fading out, and he's back into playing the rhythm. But then they go through that a few measures, but you hear that holding guitar come back really quick. Yeah.
I do like that. That is cool. And it's a cool drum beat too, because it starts off, there's like the chorus, the verses has the 2 parts. And the first part is when Alex is kind of doing like the harmonics, and you can hear the harmonics, I think, on the right speaker. And then when it gets to like the 8th count, he'll do the and it's on the left speaker. But then Neil's doing just like an upbeat on
the splash cymbal, which
it's the splash cymbal.
It's the splash cymbal which I had never heard that done before. Because anytime you're doing
I thought
that's always hi-hat.
I thought it was a hi-hat, but it was ringing just a little bit. It's a splash cymbal.
Yep.
Man. And then it kicks into the more but with the ding ding cha ding 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 chi, where Alex is kind of copying the bass line, but then throwing in those accents on the 2 and 4, the ska thing. I just love the ska thing. What can I say? Ska, man. Ska, I love it, man. All right. So what other cool stuff? There was, I think the solo is really cool. It's kind of a good mix between the harmonics with the wah and some melodic stuff with the bass line on the solo is just.
And yes, once again, you've got Geddy Lee as with his bassiest of bass goodiness. I mean, I really am rediscovering the brilliance of his we just have discussed this, but his bass playing, it's just out there, man. It's
incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
And then it's cool when he'll do the kind of, I mean, they're probably not improvised because he probably does it every show, but when he does the things differently on the live versions than he does, he'll throw in a little extra run or something. And usually it's like right with the drum fill too. It's this song. See, song sucks.
But it's once again, it's that band. It's just, I mean, there's a lot of great bands out there, amazing bands, and tight bands. But I mean, Rush is just so tight, and I probably bring this up every episode, but they're like one instrument. The 3 together are just like an instrument. It's a sound that it never was before, and it never will be after. There's never going to be anyone that sounds like that. At least not good is good. I mean, there's people that may try.
Hey, now this is a little off topic, but I want to go ahead and throw this out there. A listener of ours just sent me a text
just now.
And I'm reading this, on the air. And
I guess it's not live, so it's not really air.
Take the first letter of your first name to find your new Rush first name. Take the first letter of your last name to find out your Rush name for that. So me, my Rush name would be Gilded Bangkok.
Oh,
that's my name. Shayne, you are Alien Necromancer.
Oh, that doesn't sound
necromancer.
good at all.
And Jay,
Poor aliens.
Jay, you are hyperspace subdivisions.
Oh, I love it.
Ooh.
And one of my favorite songs.
Yes, this is came from one of our Every Rush Song listeners, Travis.
Travis. Shout out to
Travis.
Travis and our.
It's
cool
not
new-
Travis, it's
Travis.
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 So, okay, what was your name
Travis.
again?
Like
What was
Traverse
your name
City.
again?
My name was Gilded Bangkok.
Bangkok, yes.
No, what does the gilded come from?
That's what I'm trying to think. But I mean, from Limelight, the Gilded Cage.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then Shayne is alien
alien
necrophilia.
Close.
necromancer.
Okay.
Close.
That makes
Close.
more sense.
Huh. Cool. Yeah.
And then hyperspace subdivisions.
Hyperspace.
Hyperspace
subdivisions.
subdivision. I don't know. I feel like I love it. I feel like a little I'm hearing a little Han Solo in there, a little hyperspace, the subdivisions, and just I don't know. I feel good about that.
Oh, hang on a
Oh,
second.
look.
I just got another text.
Uh-oh.
I got a new name.
Yeah, he said that this episode should end now. Okay.
Oh, how did he know that? All right. Well,
I don't
any
know.
last words? No, any last thoughts on Grand Designs? Gentlemen, sisters?
Last words.
Go listen to it.
I'm so sorry it took me so long to fall in love with you.
Especially when I copied it for Fall in Love Again. All right. Also, after the third chorus, when Getty sang Surface Tension, listen for Alex's guitar going. Wee! When Getty says surface tension, that's pretty cool. That's my last word.
You know what? I think that's a good word to end on.
It is. All right. Well,
So overall, how do we all feel about this song? Now, I have learned something tonight that is going to make me go back and listen to it again, especially
anytime I go to a natural body of water, I'm going to be paying attention to the bugs floating on
surface
it.
tension, or just they're not
too.
breaking the surface tension.
Well,
They don't have any wild kinetic dreams. Those little
I can't
bugs.
wait to go practice with
Poor little
milk
bugs.
droplets tonight.
Hey Tim, I have an idea. Why don't you go practice belly flop?
Thank you very kindly. Good night.
monkeys.